Okay, what's up? Welcome to the video, guys. We're going to be doing the VK 28.01, 10.5 centimeter. That's the 105. And I got a recommendation to play this vehicle. I played one battle in it probably 6, 9 months ago, a year ago, whatever. This is my old account, but I know I came on at some point within the last year, and I played one battle in this, and I even played a few games in the Super Hellcat, and we'll be doing a session on that right after this one. So, what is this vehicle? How the heck do you set it up? Well, I've only played one battle in it, so I can't really give you like a really good feel for how the tank plays. I can't give you a good description because I've only played one battle, but I've seen it in action many times, and really what I could say is this thing is a derp light tank. That's what it is. It's almost like a T-49, a tier 6. That's what it feels like to me. And what the heck, like how the heck do you set this thing up then? Because it's kind of very unique in that sense. I actually run vents in the scouting slot, and the reason for this is so I get the extra percent to the crew skills, and then I have vent purge, which gives me an extra 2.5%. The crew is pretty standard, but I did burn 2 crew books, I believe, so I have a lot of concealment in here. Keep that in mind because I was running low noise exhaust, but instead I have all the concealment, and now we're getting 30%, and I'm switching over to the improved aiming class 2 instead of the low noise exhaust. So what that does is it lowers the dispersion number over here. And then the vents as well helps with like aim time and dispersion and all that, because you really need to try and reduce the dispersion as much as possible since this thing has basically a derp gun. But when it hits very hard. So I want to try and emphasize the gun on this thing as much as possible. Now, a lot of people think there's only one build, so to speak, build. This sounds kind of like an RPG type thing where you can like build your own character and character class and all that, but it's not that much different than World of Tanks. I mean, you could set up a tank with any kind of equipment you like. I mean, look at this. If I really wanted to, I can run turbo, low noise exhaust on this thing, and play it more sneakily if I wanted to, if that's a word. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do, but really different from an RPG, a tank really can only play so much to its strengths. Whereas, you know, this thing is going to be way the heck different than the T-49 without the derp, right? For instance. So just like, you know, this T-95 would play very different from the Super Hellcat, right? But they're both tank destroyers. So you have different classes of vehicles in this game, but there are certain vehicles that just play very, very differently than others, and this is one of those, is what I'm trying to say. So I would rather set this thing up to have the gun I want to have the best performance with the gun as possible. I want the gun to be able to perform as good as it possibly can. And that's the way I have this thing set up. In the modified configuration, all I have is the valves tuning. I feel like this gives it a little more power, specific power, because it's slightly low compared to what I looked at the T-49. This thing has like 35 specific power. So that's what I'm doing there. And that's about it, guys, for how I have this thing set up. But I wanted to really go in detail on, you know, how the heck do you go about setting this thing up, because it's just a very, very unique tank, and I think that's why someone recommended for me to play it, so they can kind of see, you know, what am I doing with this thing. I run it with 20 heat shells, 15 AP, and 7 HEs, and we are running the rations, and again, just to summarize, doing everything I can to aid dispersion. And if your crew isn't stacked like mine, you might want to mess around with this equipment. Alright guys, so that's everything I wanted to talk about with this vehicle. I know it's, geez, it's like almost a 5-minute intro, but hopefully you can kind of understand why I'm going into such detail with this tank. Keep in mind I'm on my old account, so that's why you're only seeing like, I don't know, 8 or 9 tanks over here. How many do I have? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tanks. I only have 9 tanks on this account. The DPM is very good on this thing. That's another thing to keep in mind. And yeah, let's go, guys. View range is also insane, 480. So let's go ahead and get into the battles. I thought I had loaded all armor-piercing rounds on this, whatever. And we'll see what we're going to get into. So this tank, it's actually somewhat versatile, believe it or not. I know I just went into detail about how unique it is, but it's actually quite versatile because it has 480 view range at tier 6. So when you have this kind of view range and you get into a game that is like tier 6, this is tier 5 and tier 6, I can get to a position very quickly where I can take shots on people that are going to be running up the 0 line, right? So you can get to places very quickly, but you also have insane view range on top of the massive caliber of gun. So it's just something to keep in mind. Again, there's a very unique playstyle with this tank, but I think it's also worth mentioning that the tank can be versatile as well. So that's something to note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the APs loaded for now, and we'll kind of see who comes along here over in the 0 line. And yeah, Empire's Border, like, this map is actually pretty good for lights if you know what you're doing, so to speak. So I always like coming to the mid. The valves tuning is actually, I think this thing accelerates pretty good now with the valves tuning. I think it did make a slight difference, although it's been like months and months since I played it, right? So maybe it's just me. But here we have the Matilda. I could probably pen this dude, but I'm going to wait for the right shot. I put it like that. And this is the thing with this vehicle, man, is it's just very, like, the gun is so derpy and the shell velocity is so slow. I'm going to load a heat. I'm going to shoot this guy. And it still bounces. And this is the issue that you'll run into with this tank, is that the accuracy is very trollish and the shell velocity is really slow. So it actually plays really well when you're up in someone's face, but not so much from a distance. But you can kind of work with it, right? Let's see if we can get a shot into this guy. There we go, 242. And this is where, it's so beneficial to have this kind of alpha damage. Because you can knock people out with one shot, right? And you're a light tank. We already have 461 damage, 850 spotting, and yeah, this thing, man, like, it's a very, very powerful tank. And look, we're even at some distance here, and we're still able to hit shots on these guys, so it's pretty cool. So you just have to make sure you aim like way ahead of people. Like, I gotta go like here almost to hit the AMX. Looks like he's retreating. Just missed him there. And what I like to do when people kind of stop like that is I'll auto aim. Okay, that almost looked like it went through the tank, right? Pretty wild. If this guy goes dark, I'll take a shot right here. Okay, there we go. 366, and we clean up the AMX ELC with the heat round. And this is what I mean about this thing, man. Like, even from a distance, you can make it work, man. It is freaking nasty, right? So we'll go ahead and load APs until I know what I'm dealing with here, but I want to come up and try and support the mid. In fact, we might be able to make a different play here, guys. What do you think? We might be able to go for base or something. We have the AT-8, the SU-8, M4A1. Those are the only 3 tanks that have not been spotted. And I'm thinking we can almost try and flank these guys. There's not much left over here, right? It's 8-0. This is standard Holiday Ops matchmaking, and yeah, I think we just rush in at this point and look for shots on some of these other people. Don't flip. There's the M4. Okay, I'll take one from him, that's fine. They're able to clean him up. Did we get some spotting? We did get some spotting for that. And now we're going to load some HEs for the Nash as well as the SU-8. The Nash one will hit pretty hard, but we are pretty full HP, so I'm willing to just run in and get these shots. Here's the Nash horn. Let's go right there, 437. We'll just ram this guy, that's fine. This tank's pretty heavy, so it can handle that. and someone gets to clean up shot in the Nashorn. 1723 damage, 1,175 assists, and you would think this is like a tier 8 game with that kind of score, right guys? But did you see 437 right into the face of the Nashorn? And this is where this tank is performing and just doing very well in any kind of battle. When you're able to load HE shells or even just the heats and hit people for massive amounts of damage, right? That's what this tank is. It's a damage dealer. So we got a first class game there on our first battle. That's awesome. 1723 damage, 3 kills, 995 experience, and that's phenomenal. This was 15 to 1, but you know, again, holiday ops matchmaking, and not much more to say about that. Let's get into the next battle. And I don't think I have anything more to say about the Empire's Border battle, guys. I think it was very straightforward, wild matchmaking, and that's about it. Really, when this thing becomes an issue is when you get into like tier 8 battles and you can't pen people with the heat even. That's where it becomes a really big issue and just a problem and frustrating and annoying and irritating and every negative word you can think of, right? Especially when you miss shots, because you could tell like this thing is literally like lobbing baseballs, right? When you take a shot, especially with the heat shells. And yeah, like when we were taking shots at the AMX ELC, you could see that with certainty, right? You can see that if I threw a baseball, that's basically what it looks like when the shell comes out of the gun. So you just have to keep that in mind, that whenever you are aiming at someone that's on the move, you got to aim way the heck in front of them. We're talking. We'll wait till the battle starts, and we'll be able to see the stats on the rounds, but we're talking a very slow shell velocity. So we have a couple of options here. We can try and take the mid. There's a spot right here in the mid. I've talked about this. It's like in the, I guess it's the E7 square. Or we can just play standard, play the standard light tank area and go, you know, to this area right here on the map. So I think I like that better. This is tier 6 matchmaking again, which is phenomenal. I don't believe this thing has preferential matchmaking. I highly doubt it, but I don't know for certain. I'm pretty sure only like a couple of tier 8s have that, but we're going to run up this way, and I'm going to just load heats to start off. And yeah, you're talking 376 meters a second on those heats, 470 on the APs, guys, and it's the same for the HE. So, I mean, this is almost like a Hetzer, right? Like it's just ridiculously slow shell velocity. But if you can make it work, it will hit extremely hard, right? So here's the M10. I think we can probably try and get a shot into this guy. I'm gonna go for it. There we go, 360, and look at the guy's health bar, right? Like it's just insane when you hit another vehicle at your own tier. And you can see that health bar just go way the heck down, man. And this is why I set it up the way I set it up, guys. I use that aim, improved aiming, and I just think it really helps this tank in particular. It's the only light tank that I would ever run improved aiming on, right? To me, it's just not worth it to run it on any other light tank. But on this tank, it's worth it because it's all gun. This tank is all gun. So we're going to sit right here. I'm going to hope that I'm not spotted. Gosh, my mustache area is itching a lot. And we're going to hope that we spot someone here. 480 view range, but keep in mind we do not have CVS. This is tier 6. So just kind of hanging out here. We're going to wait, see if we spot anybody, because there's only 3 tanks spotted. I don't want to do anything aggressive like this Type 64 is doing. I think this is a very aggressive play and not that smart, but he's doing it nonetheless, and he's doing it successfully, so I can't really say too much more about it. But hopefully we can sit back here and maybe we can play TD for the time being. Okay, we got someone right here. I'm going to take a shot. Doesn't look like it hit anything. Oh, we got KV1 or VK or something over here. Yeah. There we go. And we're going to miss the shot on the 2801. That's all right. Actually, take it right here. I don't think that went in, but it's worth a shot. And now, since the Chaffee is now pressing up this way, the Type T-34, I think we're going to, this is what we're going to do, guys. We're actually going to go low. We'll let them take care of the 2801. I'm going to come down around this way because I would like to throw off like the Shinu and stuff like that. And these guys are probably going to do something. Ooh, I can't draw on the map. I don't have XVM activated. But I was going to, I feel like these guys are going to do something like this, right? They're going to try and retreat. So I think we can catch them in that act. And just going to keep the heats loaded, you know, and like, why not? There's an 85M over here that we might have trouble penning. The pen is actually only 104 on the heats even. So again, that's why I was saying it becomes a problem when you get into like higher tier games. So 330 into the T-34 85M. I want to shoot and focus the 3485M because I feel like he's the more powerful tank. It'll help out the Type T-34. We'll clean this guy up, and that's going to be the game, guys. 15-4, 1,222 damage, 101 assists, 2 kills. Another just insane matchmaking for you. Dude, it's just... I know they'll never do skill-based matchmaking, but sometimes when you get into these games, it's just insane how unbalanced it is, right? But it's part of the game, and there's nothing you can do about it. So 1,222 damage, and again, this thing is a damage monster. So over the first 2 games, we're averaging 1,400, almost 1,500 damage, right? So let's play a third. If this is a good game, I will close it out after this one. Great, we're getting into a battle on 1 second, so that's phenomenal. This music, man, just really throwing me off. So this is going to be tier 8 matchmaking, and this is where we're going to start running into the problems. We'll want to play this more like a light. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm just going to come running up to here and see if I can spot anything. But you have to play it much more passively when you get into the top tier, or if you're bottom tier, I should say, in the matchmaking. So I just want to look at the pen on these ABCRs real quick as well. It's 64 millimeters of penetration. So I now recall why I didn't initially, before I started this video, I had all heats loaded, and I now understand why, because this is like tier 4 level of penetration, right? Let's see if we can get a shot to this guy. Just missed it there. That's all right. Oops, sorry, man. My fault. Alright, so I want to sit right here and just kind of hang out. Like, there's no reason to be aggressive. See what this T50 did? Like, I don't want to put myself in that predicament because this guy's probably going to die, and he does. And this is why it's just not worth it to make aggressive plays when you're bottom tier, man. You know, it's not worth it. It's better to just stay, even if someone complains, you know, it's better to just stay passive, right? So I doubt we'll ever pen him from this distance. And I could be wrong about this, guys, but I also want to tell you that because the shell velocity is so slow on these rounds, although I think for heat, doesn't heat shell, I think heat shells retain their penetration all the way up until the point of impact. But when you have very low shell velocity and you're shooting from a distance, I think that it lowers the penetration values in comparison to like an APCR round or something, right? So I could be wrong about that, but something else to note, especially when you're shooting the AP rounds. If you're going to shoot the AP rounds, I mean, dude, 64 millimeters of penetration. Like, at that point, you might as well just shoot the HEs because they're 53 millimeters of penetration, right? So yeah, honestly, I would just load heats on this thing, guys. Like, it's not even worth it to load the APs unless you're going against very low tier tanks, but at that point you might as well just play the lottery and shoot an HE shell if the tank has like 50 millimeters of armor or whatever. So we're hanging out here. I'm thinking at this point we might as well start pressing the south side because I'm gonna just do like a quick check right here and see if I get lit. If I don't, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna try and take the ditch right here. Okay, and we might from this point be able to take this bush. Spotted the VK there. Let me do it. Okay, it's going to do a spot check, but I'm already lit here. Not sure where it's from. It could be from the VK. He's still pretty close to me. Just watching Artie. Let's do another quick check here. Spotted the Achilles over there. Let's see if someone can get a shot into this guy. Do one more spot check and I'm going to try and just go for it, I think. 2, 3. Nothing. Okay. Type 64 is here. Go ahead and try and take a shot at this guy. No luck, but it's worth a shot. Just gonna watch for Artie. And what I'm doing, guys, I don't know if I explained this, but you see how there's like these little tiny bushes here, like this. It's almost like dead grass. That actually provides some concealment value if you look like this. And what it's doing is it's preventing me from getting spotted by the VK when he pokes right here, at least for the most part, right? Just a little added concealment, and that allows me to not get spotted here when I poke up. So E25 is right here. We might be lit from that. Let's see. Okay, that bounced. And we might have to think about getting out of here at this point, because I don't want to get pressed. Let's see, STRV-S1 and Eagle 7 are the only two that are unspotted. We might be able... Okay, there's Eagle 7. I think we can try and press the north side of this map, actually. E25 is rushing in here. Hope I don't get spotted by him. I don't. And we just need some support in knocking out this Iron Arnie, because there's no way I can do that myself, right? Like, I don't have the pen to do it unless I can get behind the guy. So let's see if the T-34 can assist, or the T-32. Come on, man. Get this guy. Come on, man. Alright, Artie takes him out. I'm going to hang out right here. Shouldn't get hit by anybody. And I might have to support the south now. This is tough, man, because everyone's really spread out, and this map's pretty large, so... Let's see if we can try and spot the south. Gonna do something like this. There's the Karn. Just watching for the Type 64. He can outspot me, honestly. Yeah, lit here. Okay, there's S1, Type 64. Yeah, this is not a good situation we got here. S1's going to have a shot at me. Okay. Type 64 is going to keep me lit here, which is another problem. Okay. So, I didn't think these guys would press that quickly, but they did. Okay. He gets racked. And we have to defend the base at this point. I have 2 RD, T26E4, IS-6B. This is where this tank becomes kind of annoying to play, because it's a little torquey now that I have the just hope I don't get spotted here. This is going to be tricky too. Like, these bushes are not very friendly. You know, it's torquey, but it's just a fat, you know, somewhat slow light tank, so just have to be mindful of that, right? waiting at this point for the S1 to try and press. I'm glad that the Type 64 died on their team, because that kind of helps me out. How am I getting spotted here? Really, the S1 spotted me from here. So he must be in here or something. Man, I really didn't think I would get lit like that. That's pretty wild. Like, considering the bush right here and stuff, but hey man, I don't think we were going to be able to do anything with this game anyway. It just wasn't looking good like the whole time. Like, I'm kind of running around the map trying to figure out what the heck I want to do. But we got 850 spotting damage, and I don't think that's terrible. For the situation we had, like, we took a couple shots at people and it just didn't pen, and that's the reality when you get into the tier 8 matchmaking. And it's why I tell you to just load the heats, because yeah, like, this thing just sucks when it's bottom tier, even if it's facing tier 7s, right? So I think you can see that here, but we tried to play the light tank role. We got a little bit of spotting, and you know, we'll just have to kind of watch the end of this game, but I don't think we're going to be able to pull this off, in my opinion. But let's stick around and watch this. Yeah, Eagle 7's going to rack the IS-6. The STRVS-1 made a really good play, though, to be able to spot me there. Like, I know that thing has pretty crazy concealment, but I'm shocked that I didn't spot him here, and then, but I moved, and as soon as I moved, I got lit. So, yeah, unfortunate, man. But just the M44 left. It's a good try, man. So I think we'll play one more. What are we at in this video? 27 minutes. Yeah, we'll play one more, guys, and see what kind of game we can get into. Unfortunately, this is a 0 damage game, but with this tank, I think, like, I'm not even that mad about it, because with this tank, like, the lack of penetration and the lack of shell velocity and all that, just you know, it's really just not a fun thing. You know, not a fun tank to play against higher tiers. So, all right, let's go ahead with one more. And what did that bring the average down to? 900. It's still doing almost 1,000 damage in a tier 6 light tanks, which is just crazy to me. But let's play a 4th battle, and we'll just see what the heck happens here. And then I'm going to move on, play the Super Hellcat, and I'm going to go to bed because it's getting close to 1 in the morning here. But hopefully the battles are at least, you can learn a thing or two, you know. And my goal with the sessions is always to get you guys to see where the tank is working and where the tank isn't working. Of course, you can watch other people play, but I like to really bring in a strategic point of view, which not a lot of other YouTube channels do, or even the big CCs, right? Sometimes they just kind of, they've been playing for so long that they don't even really bring strategy into it anymore, because they play like every day, right? So I think what I want to do here, I think we're just going to come up to the to like the east side of this map. Sometimes what I like to do is come up to this area right here, and from here you can get like some crossfire sometimes on people that are pushing. But in this tank it just doesn't work because it's so derpy that it's not worth it, in my opinion. Gonna be a steel wall on the beach. Toggle eye. So we have another tier 6 matchmaking, and we should be able to do something in this game, right? Here's Chaffee. Man, dude, this shell velocity is so slow. It's so slow, man. I figured at that point, like, I'd be able to hit him because I was only like 100 meters away, but it was still too slow. Yeah, they got 2 LEFs, man. Oh, that's just a recipe for disaster. We have 2 LEFs too. The most toxic arty tank ever. Cromwell's pushing. It's very early to do this, guys. I don't know. Alright, let's see. A46 is here. Just gonna take a shot at this guy, like, there. That almost hit him. Okay. I think we push into the A46. I don't want him pushing into my RDs. God, dude. It's so hard to shoot this gun and aim at people, man. It's just, you need to get like really close. T-37 will have probably one more on me. Okay. Let's fully aim this. Okay, 315. Clean him up. And so these guys pushed up like in here, and their light tanks decided to push the other side, so that was just an interesting turn of events there. Alright. Shot at this guy. Let's try one more time. There we go. Okay, he's backing down. And now I think we push this line. T-34. There we go, 201. I think we load HE for the T-37 here. Okay, he's dead. Go back to heats. And you see, I can't emphasize this enough, guys, like, in a lower tier game, this thing is monstrous, but it's because we can actually pen things, right? It's because we can pen everything. Ooh, Stug. Just gonna take a quick shot there. Repair the ammo rack. This could be a game right now. Because of these LEFs, man. This could be the game for me. I'm going to try and get back. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it or not. Let's see. I want to try and keep these bushes like right here in between where these guys were. But at this point, this game's over, guys. We're just trying to get as much damage as we possibly can out of this. Gonna knock these trees. Sit like in here, so I can at least try and spot for someone, right? Like maybe the LEFs can get something out of this. If I sit like right here, in front of the base. Just hang out. If LEF takes a blind here, we're dead. We hit the Stug for 341, man. Like, up close and personal, I'm telling you, this thing is nasty. 341 in the face, like, as soon as I pulled up. But I believe I got spotted before I even poked up, right? Because we got hit there, and it looks like everyone was just kind of expecting me to be there. So Tog is here. Just gonna try and soak up some spotting damage out of this. I don't want to fire because it's very likely that I'll miss these guys, you know. And I really need this P-43 to be completely sideways. Let's try one at the Tog. Okay, 416. Dude, LEFs are so bad, man. Oh my god, these things are so bad. Panzer has a shot on me from here. Oh well. 1600 damage, 518 assist, and again, 1600 damage, guys. Like, this thing is just crazy. Like, we literally had a 0 damage game here, and we probably averaged like 1100 damage still. Yeah, and what I would recommend that you do, so let's back out of this one, guys. No, we'll just wait for him to die because he's the last one left. And we will get an overall score here at the end. But what I would suggest you do in the tier 7 and 8 games, especially tier 8, is you just try and flank people the best you can. Like, if you have to camp it out, man, camp it out, because you cannot penetrate anybody you know, with any kind of armor at tier 8, right? Because if they have any kind of armor, it's going to be like 100 millimeters plus. I'd argue more than that. And you're just not going to be able to do anything frontally, probably not even to some people's side plates, right, at that tier. So you have to do your best to try and get up close and personal, run in and smack someone and run out. We just didn't really have that opportunity on studs, unfortunately. It was kind of an interesting game. But we did 1600 damage, 518 assist here. We're top by damage on this game, and we ended with 1,136 damage over 4 battles and 661 assist damage. So we're looking at like 1,700, 1,800 combined, something like that. For tier 6, that's not bad at all, and this was a 5,800 WTR. So I think that's pretty darn good, considering that I like never play this tank. And over 5 battles now that I have in this thing, 1,175 damage, 60% win rate, and we got a first class, guys, out of it with that second game. So I've yet to get a mastery in this thing, but we'll get it at some point. And that's it, guys. We talked about this tank enough at the beginning. You just really have to be careful the way you play this thing. Keep in mind all its strengths and weaknesses. It'll hit really hard, but it has no penetration. And its view range is really good, but it's a pretty fat tank, so you know, you could look at the concealment over here, but sometimes you might poke out of a bush in an odd way because the tank is so fat and you might get lit. So keep its strengths and weaknesses in mind, and if you do that, you should have at least a decent performance in this vehicle. That's it, guys. I'll catch you for the next one. We're going to do the Super Hellcat now. Hope you guys are enjoying holiday ops and the holidays. Do make sure to spend time with your family. Family is very important, guys. You know, if you're old enough to work, right, you spend a lot more time at work and with your coworkers than you do with your own family. So enjoy the holidays and enjoy the time with your family, guys. I'll catch you for the next one. Bye-bye now.